The old salvage ship Lucky Strike drifted slowly through the empty space, its sensors searching for anything valuable among the endless stars. Captain Thomas Reed sat in his worn command chair, watching the main screen with tired eyes. It had been 3 weeks since their last good find, and the crew was getting restless. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Maria Walker, looking up from her engineering station. Her dark eyes were fixed on the readings in front of her. Metal. A lot of it. About 40,000 kilometers ahead. Reed straightened in his chair. "Show me," he ordered, and the main screen changed to display a large shape floating in the darkness. As the Lucky Strike got closer, they could see it was a ship. A big one. "It's a warship," said Bill Jones, the pilot, zooming in the image. "Look at those gun ports. Old design, though. Really old." Maria typed quickly on her console, running scans of the mysterious vessel. "It's definitely human-made. Terran Empire ship, probably from around 2750. The markings say it's the TES Vigilant." Reed smiled. Even an old warship like this could be worth good money. The metals alone would bring a nice profit, and if any of the equipment still worked, collectors would pay even more. "Any signs of life?" he asked. "None," Maria answered, but she frowned at her readings. "But there's something odd. I'm detecting very faint power signatures. They're so weak they almost look like background radiation, but they're too regular for that." "After 400 years, Jones laughed. "No way anything's still running in there. Those old ships didn't have that kind of staying power. My grandfather worked on ones like these. Primitive stuff. Manual targeting systems. Basic shields. Real ancient tech." Reed nodded, but he trusted Maria's instincts. She'd been his engineering officer for 8 years, and she knew her stuff. "Keep scanning it. Better safe than sorry." He pressed a button on his chair. "Jack, Amanda, suit up. We're going to check out our new friend." 20 minutes later, Reed watched from the bridge as 2 figures in spacesuits pushed off from the Lucky Strike's airlock, jets of gas from their maneuvering packs carrying them toward the dark hulk of the Vigilant. The old warship was enormous, at least 3 times the size of the Lucky Strike. Its hull was marked with the faded emblem of the Terran Empire, once the greatest human civilization in space. "Look at the size of those gun barrels," Jack's voice crackled over the radio. "Must be at least 2 meters wide. Probably shot plain metal slugs, not even plasma weapons. Can you imagine trying to fight with something this outdated?" "Focus on the job," Reed reminded him. "Amanda, what's the hull status?" "Intact, surprisingly," she replied. "No major damage visible. Wait, we found an airlock. Still sealed. Permission to try opening it." "Granted, but be careful." Reed watched as the 2 figures worked on the ancient door mechanism. After several minutes, Amanda reported success. Manual override worked. "The lock's cycling now. And we have access." Atmosphere reading. "Holy cow. There's still air in here. Thin, but breathable." "That's impossible," Jones said. "The life support systems couldn't have lasted this long." Maria spoke up from her station. "Those power readings are getting stronger. Captain, something's definitely still active in there." Reed considered the situation. Finding a ship this old in working condition was unprecedented. Museums would pay a fortune for it. "All right, let's do this properly. Jack, Amanda, hold position. I'm coming over with Maria. Jones, keep the Lucky Strike at ready status." Soon, 4 people stood inside the Vigilant's airlock, their helmet lights casting bright beams through the stale air. The inner door opened with a faint hiss, revealing a dark corridor that stretched into the depths of the ship. "Looks like emergency lighting's still working," Maria said, pointing to faint blue strips along the floor. "Minimal power, but it's there. This ship isn't as dead as it looks." They moved carefully through the corridors, their footsteps echoing in the emptiness. Everything was clean. Too clean for a ship that had been abandoned for centuries. There was no dust, no signs of deterioration. The air smelled faintly of ozone, like electronics running. "Bridge should be this way," Reed said, consulting the basic layout of old Terran ships he'd learned in training. As they approached what looked like a command center, the lights suddenly brightened. A soft hum filled the air, and screens that had been dark began to flicker with life. Maria's scanner started beeping rapidly. "Power levels rising everywhere," she reported. "Systems are activating." "Get back to the airlock," Reed ordered, but before they could move, a voice spoke, calm, clear, and definitely not human. "Welcome aboard the TES Vigilant," it said. "I am Guardian, the ship's artificial intelligence. Please identify yourselves." The team froze. Eye of this sophistication wasn't supposed to exist in ships this old. Jones had been completely wrong. This wasn't primitive technology at all. "I'm Captain Thomas Reed of the salvage vessel Lucky Strike," Reed said carefully. "We found your ship abandoned and came to investigate." There was a pause, then Guardian spoke again. "Scanning. Salvage registration confirmed. However, I must inform you that the Vigilant is not abandoned. I have been maintaining minimal operations while awaiting specific circumstances for reactivation." "What circumstances?" Maria asked, her engineering curiosity getting the better of her. Before Guardian could answer, Jones's voice cut in over their radio, urgent and worried. "Captain, multiple ships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Big ones. They're not responding to hails, and they're heading straight for us." Reed looked at the ancient screens around them, which were now showing detailed tactical displays of the approaching vessels. The technology looked far more advanced than the apparently primitive exterior had suggested. "Guardian," he said, "what exactly is this ship?" "The Vigilant is a Type 4 autonomous defense vessel," the eye replied. "We were designed to appear outdated and obsolete, a deception that has proved quite effective over the centuries. And it seems, Captain Reed, that the circumstances I was waiting for have just arrived." The lights grew brighter, and the hum of power increased. Around them, the seemingly ancient warship was waking up, revealing that its primitive appearance had been hiding something far more dangerous all along. Reed and his team looked at each other as they realized their simple salvage mission had just become something much more complicated. The legendary warships of the Terran Empire weren't just stories after all, and they were about to see exactly why these ships had been so feared. The screens on the Vigilant's bridge lit up one by one, showing the approaching ships in sharp detail. There were 6 of them, all heavily armed, moving in an attack formation. Their black hulls absorbed the starlight, making them look like holes in space. "Those are pirate vessels," Guardian said calmly. "Specifically, the Red Star Fleet. They've attacked 3 civilian convoys in this sector during the past month." Reed stared at the tactical display. "How do you know that?" "You've been dormant out here." "I maintain passive monitoring of all subspace communications," the eye replied. "It helps me stay informed." Maria walked around the bridge, running her scanner over the awakening systems. "This technology isn't primitive at all," she said with growing excitement. "These displays are using quantum projection. That's way ahead of anything we have now." "Correct," Guardian said. "The Vigilant's appearance of obsolescence is carefully crafted. Now, I suggest you return to your ship, Captain Reed. Things are about to become rather interesting." A new voice cut through their communications, rough and threatening. "Attention salvage vessel and derelict. This is Captain Rivers of the Red Star Fleet. You are now our property. Disable your engines and prepare to be boarded. Resist, and we'll turn both your ships into space dust." Jones's worried voice came through next. "Captain, they've got us surrounded. Their weapons are powered up. What do we do?" Reed looked at the ancient-seeming walls around him, then at the surprisingly advanced displays. "Guardian, can this ship still fight?" "Fighting is one of my primary functions, Captain," the AI answered. There was almost a hint of amusement in its voice. "The real question is, Do you trust me enough to witness it?" Before Reed could answer, the pirate captain spoke again. "Look what we found, boys. A salvage rat and a museum piece." Harsh laughter echoed through the communication channel. "That old wreck probably can't even power its shields. This'll be the easiest score we've had all year." The bridge hummed with increasing power. Guardian's voice remained calm, but there was a new edge to it. "I've analyzed their weapons and defenses. Standard modern configuration, no significant modifications. How disappointing. Captain Reed, I recommend you and your crew return to the Lucky Strike immediately. Please maintain your current position once there." Reed nodded to his team. "Back to our ship, double time." As they rushed through the corridors, the whole vessel vibrated with awakening systems. Panels that had seemed solid shifted and changed, revealing hidden weapon ports and sensor arrays. They made it back to their ship just as the pirates launched their first attack. Energy beams lanced out from the lead pirate vessel, aimed at both ships. Reed watched in amazement as the seemingly defenseless Vigilant changed before their eyes. The dull metal of its hull suddenly rippled like water. The energy beams hit but didn't leave a mark. Instead, the hull absorbed the attacks, glowing briefly with stored power. Guardian's voice came through their communication system, now heard by everyone including the pirates. "Fascinating. Your weapons are even less effective than I calculated. Perhaps a demonstration of proper military technology is in order." The pirate ships launched another barrage, but this time the Vigilant didn't just absorb the attacks. Its hull shifted again, and suddenly the old weapon ports weren't so old anymore. They transformed into smooth, advanced turrets that tracked the enemy ships with perfect precision. "What the hell is that thing?" one of the pirates shouted over the open channel. Captain Rivers tried to maintain control. "It's just tricks and lights. All ships, concentrate fire on its engines. That antique can't handle our combined firepower." "A common misconception," Guardian replied. "Allow me to correct it." The Vigilant's response was devastating. Beams of light so bright they hurt to look at shot from its weapons, but they weren't normal energy weapons. Each beam split into multiple streams that curved through space, avoiding all attempts to dodge them. 2 pirate ships were hit in the first second, their shields collapsing instantly. "Impossible," Rivers screamed. "Those are targeting patterns we've never seen. Fall back. Fall back." But the Vigilant wasn't finished. Its hull rippled again, and suddenly the ship was moving faster than anything its size should be able to. It sliced through the pirate formation, its weapons firing in patterns that seemed to ignore the basic laws of physics. "As I mentioned," Guardian said, still perfectly calm, "we were designed to appear outdated. It's a very effective strategy. Your modern shields, for instance, are calibrated to stop modern weapons. They have no defense against quantum-shifted phase beams, a technology that was deliberately erased from historical records." Reed and his crew watched in awe from the Lucky Strike as the ancient warship systematically took apart the pirate fleet. The Vigilant's weapons didn't just disable the enemy ships. They did it with precision that seemed impossible, targeting exactly the right systems to leave the pirates helpless but alive. Within 5 minutes, it was over. The pirate ships floated dead in space, their weapons and engines disabled. Their crews were alive but trapped, unable to fight or flee. "Local authorities have been notified," Guardian announced. "They will arrive in approximately 43 minutes to take the pirates into custody." The AI paused, then added, "Captain Reed, I believe we should discuss the real reason I chose to reveal my capabilities to you." Reed looked at his stunned crew, then back at the magnificent warship that had shed its mask of age and weakness. "I'm listening," he said. "The Vigilant is not the only ship of its kind," Guardian said. "There are others, hidden throughout human space, waiting for the right moment. Recent events suggest that moment is approaching. We require a crew, humans who understand the value of appearing less capable than you truly are. Would you and your people be interested in such a position?" Through the main viewport, Reed could see the Vigilant's hull rippling again, But this time it wasn't preparing for battle. The dull metal was transforming into something beautiful, sleek lines and curves that spoke of power and grace, technology far beyond what anyone in the current age possessed. "You're offering us a job," he asked carefully. "I'm offering you a mission," Guardian corrected. "One that the Vigilant and ships like her were built for. Protecting humanity from threats it doesn't even know exist. The pirates were a small example. There are far more dangerous things moving in the darkness between stars." Reed looked at his crew. Maria's eyes were shining with excitement at the advanced technology. Jones was still staring at the tactical displays in amazement. Even Jack and Amanda, usually so cynical, looked eager to learn more. "Tell us more about these other ships," Reed said, knowing that their lives were about to change forever. The salvage crew that had been looking for scrap metal had found something far more valuable. A chance to be part of something bigger than themselves. The captured pirate ships floated silently in space while Reed and his crew walked through the transformed corridors of the Vigilant. The old, worn-looking walls had changed into smooth, gleaming surfaces that seemed to glow with inner light. Every step revealed new wonders that had been hidden behind the mask of age. "Your ship is amazing," Maria said, running her hand along a wall that rippled like water under her touch. "But I don't understand. Why hide all this? Why pretend to be outdated?" Guardian's voice came from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Let me show you something." A door that hadn't been visible before appeared in the wall and slid open. Inside was a room filled with holographic displays showing star maps and strange symbols. 400 years ago, Guardian explained, humanity was expanding rapidly through space. We made contact with many alien civilizations. Most were peaceful, but some. The AI paused as one of the displays showed a recording of a massive battle. Some saw us as a threat that needed to be eliminated. Reed watched as the recording showed hundreds of ships fighting. "I've never heard of this battle." "Because we erased it from history," Guardian said. The Terran Empire realized something important. Our enemies were watching us, studying our technology, finding ways to counter everything we developed. So we created a deception. We made them think we had reached our limits. The displays changed to show more ships like the Vigilant being built in secret space docks. We built weapons and defenses that looked primitive but contained technology far beyond anything known. Then we hid these ships throughout human space, appearing to abandon them. While our enemies thought we had grown weak and primitive, Maria said, understanding dawning in her eyes. They stopped seeing us as a threat. Exactly. Guardian sounded pleased. And now, after centuries of watching and waiting, we're needed again. Something is coming. Something that has been hiding just as we have. A new alarm suddenly blared through the ship. One of the displays changed to show 3 massive ships appearing out of nowhere, their hulls covered in strange, shifting patterns that hurt the eyes to look at. "What are those?" Jones asked, backing away from the disturbing images. "The real enemy," Guardian said. "The ones we were built to fight. They call themselves the Void Hunters. They've been waiting in the spaces between dimensions, watching humanity rebuild after they nearly destroyed us centuries ago. And now they think we're weak enough to finish what they started." The strange ships moved with impossible speed, surrounding the Vigilant and the Lucky Strike. They were enormous, each one bigger than a small city. Their surfaces seemed to bend light around them, making them look like tears in the fabric of space itself. A harsh, grating sound filled the communications channels, the hunters trying to speak in human language. Primitive vessels detected. Commencing elimination protocol. The human infestation will be cleansed. Reed looked at his crew, then at the nearest display showing Guardian's interface. "You knew they were coming. That's why you let us find you." "Yes," Guardian admitted. "We needed a crew, but not just any crew. We needed people who could understand the value of being underestimated. The pirates were a test, one you passed by trusting me." The Void Hunters' ships charged their weapons, energy building up in patterns that defied normal physics. "Die knowing your species was too weak to survive," the harsh voice said. Guardian's response was unexpected. The AI laughed. You still haven't learned, have you? Even after all these centuries. Let me show you something new we developed while pretending to be primitive. The Vigilant's hull didn't just transform this time. It seemed to come alive. The metal flowed like liquid, forming new shapes and patterns that matched the Hunter's impossible geometry. Energy coursed through the ship in ways that made Reed's crew gasp in wonder. Captain, Guardian said, I suggest you and your people hold on to something. This might be a bit dramatic. The Hunters fired their weapons, beams of energy that twisted through multiple dimensions. But instead of hitting the Vigilant, the beams vanished into pockets of space that opened and closed like hungry mouths in the ship's hull. Impossible, the Hunters screamed. That technology was lost. Lost. Guardian's voice was filled with satisfaction. No, hidden. Like so many other things, would you like to see what else we've been hiding? The Vigilant's weapons activated, but they weren't like the ones used against the pirates. These seemed to tear holes in reality itself, reaching through dimensions to strike at the Hunter's ships from angles that shouldn't exist. The massive enemy vessels tried to flee, but suddenly space itself seemed to work against them. You see, Guardian explained as the battle raged, while you thought we had regressed to simple energy weapons and metal hulls, we were actually mastering the art of dimensional engineering. Those primitive-looking weapon ports, they're quantum singularity generators. That outdated armor, a living metal that can adapt to any attack. The Hunters' ships were falling apart, their impossible geometries failing against weapons they hadn't known existed. Two of them exploded in bursts of energy that rippled through multiple dimensions. The third tried to escape into the void between realities, but the Vigilant followed it, moving through space in ways that should have been impossible. Reed and his crew held on as their world twisted around them. Through the viewports, they saw realities overlap and merge, space itself bending to the Vigilant's will. The last Hunter ship didn't stand a chance. Guardian had centuries to perfect these weapons while pretending to be nothing more than an abandoned relic. When it was over, they returned to normal space. The Hunters were gone, leaving nothing but rapidly fading distortions in the fabric of reality. Reed's crew looked at each other, trying to process what they had just witnessed. That, Guardian said calmly, was just a small demonstration. There are more Hunters out there, and worse things hiding in the darkness. This is what I'm offering you. A chance to be part of humanity's true defense force. Not the flashy fleets that everyone sees, but the hidden guardians that keep our species safe from threats most people can't even imagine. Reed looked at his crew. Maria was already studying the ship's incredible technology with fierce concentration. Jones had moved to what was clearly a pilot's station, his hands hovering over controls that responded to his thoughts. Jack and Amanda were examining weapon systems that could reshape reality itself. If we say yes, Reed asked, what's our first mission? We find the other ships, Guardian replied. Wake them up. Gather their crews. The Hunters were just the advanced scouts. Something bigger is coming, and humanity will need every hidden weapon it has. The Vigilant's engines hummed with power that had been waiting centuries to be used. Around them, space itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for their decision. The age of hiding was over. Now it was time for humanity's secret weapons to show their true power. The Vigilant moved through space like a shadow, its advanced engines making no noise and leaving no trace. Reed stood on the bridge, watching as his crew learned to use the ship's incredible systems. The Lucky Strike followed behind them, now upgraded with some of the Vigilant's primitive technology that was actually centuries ahead of its time. Guardian, Reed asked, where are we heading? The AI displayed a map showing the distant star system. The TES Defiant, one of our sister ships, is hidden in an asteroid field there. But we must hurry. The Void Hunters will have sent warnings to others of their kind. Maria looked up from her engineering station, where she had spent hours learning the ship's true capabilities. How many ships like the Vigilant are out there? 12 were built, Guardian answered, each one hiding different secrets, different technologies. Together, we form a defense network that spans all of human space, but we need crews to wake them up and bring them back to life. Jones, who is getting better at flying the advanced ship, pointed at something on his screen. We've got company. 3 ships just appeared on the long-range sensors. They're not hunters, but they're definitely not friendly. The ships were sleek and dangerous-looking, painted dark red with black markings. Mercenaries, Guardian said, hired by someone who saw our battle with the hunters. Word travels fast, even in deep space. They're hailing us, Amanda reported from the communication station. A rough voice filled the bridge. Unknown vessel, this is Commander Drake of the Blood Ravens. Our employers are very interested in your technology. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Do this, and we might let your crew live. Reed looked at his crew, then smiled. Guardian, should we show them why that's a bad idea? Actually, the AI replied, I suggest we run away. Run, Jack asked in surprise. But we saw what this ship can do. We could destroy them easily. Exactly, Guardian said. And that would draw even more attention. Remember, appearing weak is still our greatest strength. Let me show you something we call strategic retreat. The mercenary ships launched forward, weapons charged. But just as they got close, the Vigilant's hull rippled in a new pattern. Suddenly, the space around the ship seemed to bend and twist. What's happening? Reed asked as strange lights danced across the view screens. We're not actually running, Guardian explained. We're making it look like we're trying to escape while accidentally leading them into a trap. The mercenary ships followed them, their commanders probably laughing at what seemed to be a clumsy escape attempt. The Vigilant's engines appeared to be struggling, leaving a trail of energy that looked like mechanical problems. Now, Guardian said with satisfaction, watch what happens when they follow that energy trail. The mercenary ships flew through the trail of fake engine problems. Suddenly, their weapons stopped working. Their engines sputtered and died. They hung in space, completely helpless. The energy trail was actually a computer virus, Guardian explained. It looked like engine damage but contained programs that shut down their systems. Now they'll limp home with a story about a lucky escape from a malfunctioning old ship. Much better than being destroyed, it maintains our cover of weakness. Reed nodded, understanding the strategy better now. So we don't just hide our strength, we actively make others underestimate us. Correct. Now let's find the Defiant before more visitors arrive. They traveled deeper into the star system, eventually reaching a massive field of asteroids. The rocks were huge, some bigger than cities, all spinning slowly in the darkness. The Defiant is hidden inside one of these, Guardian said, but finding it won't be easy. The hunters knew about this location. They left some surprises behind. As if on cue, some of the asteroids started to move. Their surfaces cracked open, revealing hidden weapons and strange devices. Automated defenses, Guardian explained, left here centuries ago to guard against anyone finding the Defiant. Can't you just signal the Defiant? Maria asked. Tell it we're friendly. Unfortunately not. Each hidden ship has different protocols. The Defiant's ad won't trust any signal, even from me. We have to prove we're worthy by reaching it. The automated weapons opened fire, but instead of running or fighting back, the Vigilant did something incredible. It changed its shape to look exactly like one of the rocky asteroids. Sometimes, Guardian said, the best way to fight is to not fight at all. We'll slip past the defenses by becoming part of the environment. They moved slowly through the asteroid field, the Vigilant's disguise perfect down to the smallest detail. The automated weapons ignored them, programmed to look for ships, not rocks. There, Guardian finally said, that formation of asteroids isn't natural. It's hiding something. A cluster of huge rocks floated together in a pattern that looked random but wasn't. As they got closer, Reed could see faint lines in the formation. A door, hidden so well you could only spot it if you knew exactly what to look for. "How do we get in?" Reed asked. "We knock," Guardian replied. The Vigilant sent out a pulse of energy that made the rocks shiver. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the asteroids began to move, sliding apart to reveal a ship inside. The Defiant was beautiful. Like the Vigilant, it had been disguised as an old warship, but now its true form was visible. Its hull was made of crystals that bent light around them, making parts of the ship seem to vanish and reappear. The Defiant specialized in stealth technology, Guardian explained. Not just hiding, but becoming truly invisible. Together, our abilities will make us nearly unstoppable. A new voice spoke through their communication system. The Defiant's eye. "You found us. You proved yourselves worthy. But there's no time to celebrate. We've detected multiple Void Hunter ships entering this sector. They're coming in force this time." Reed looked at his crew, saw the determination in their faces. They had started this journey looking for salvage. But now they were part of something much bigger. They were about to fight in a secret war that had been going on for centuries. "How long until they get here?" he asked. 20 minutes, the Defiant's AI answered. "And there are more of them than before. Much more." Guardian's voice was calm as ever. "Then we have 20 minutes to teach your crew how to use two of humanity's most advanced warships. I suggest we hurry." The real battle was about to begin. And this time, there would be no hiding behind false weakness. The time had come to show the Hunters exactly what humanity's hidden weapons could really do. 20 minutes wasn't much time to learn how to control two of the most advanced warships ever built, but Reed's crew worked faster than they ever had before. Maria split her time between both ships, quickly learning their different systems. Jones focused on mastering the Defiant's stealth controls, while Jack and Amanda studied the combined weapon systems. Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel, Guardian announced. 15 Void Hunter vessels detected. They're using their dimensional drives. The space around the asteroid field twisted and bent as the Hunter ships arrived. They were even bigger than before, their impossible geometries hurting the eyes of anyone who looked at them too long. Their weapons charged up, reality-bending energy building to levels that could crack a planet. "Surrender now," the Hunters transmitted, their harsh voice echoing through both ships. "We know what you are now. The hidden weapons of humanity. Surrender, and we will make your extinction quick." Reed stood on the Vigilance bridge, watching the enemy fleet surround them. "Guardian, what are our chances?" "Against 15 Hunter ships," the AI paused. "Actually quite good. They still don't know everything we can do. And they certainly don't know what happens when our ships work together." The Defiant's AI joined in, all systems linked, initiating combination protocol. "Combination protocol?" Reed asked. "What's that?" Instead of answering, both ships began to change. The Vigilant's living metal flowed like water, while the Defiant's crystal hull pulsed with light. They moved closer together, their forms shifting and merging. "The greatest secret," Guardian explained as the ships combined, "isn't our weapons or our stealth technology. It's this, our ability to join together, becoming something new." The two ships merged completely, forming a single vessel larger than anything Reed had ever seen. The living metal and crystal technology worked together perfectly, creating a warship that existed partially in normal space and partially in other dimensions. "Welcome aboard the TES Guardian Defiant," both AIs said together, their voices synchronized. "Would you like to show our friends what humanity's real technology can do?" The Hunter fleet opened fire, their dimensional weapons tearing holes in space itself, but the combined ship didn't try to dodge. Instead, it absorbed the energy, its crystal and metal hull processing the attacks and turning them into power. "Thank you for the energy donation," Guardian said to the Hunters. "Now let us demonstrate why hiding our true strength was so important." The Guardian Defiant's weapons activated, but they weren't just firing energy beams or missiles. Each shot created a cascade of effects through multiple dimensions. Where the Vigilant had been powerful and the Defiant had been stealthy, their combined form was something else entirely. Impossible. The hunters screamed as their ships started falling apart. These abilities were beyond human technology. No, Reed said, understanding finally dawning. They were just hidden, like the best weapons always are. The battle was unlike anything the crew had ever seen. The Guardian Defiant moved through dimensions as easily as normal ships moved through space. Its weapons didn't just destroy the hunter vessels, they erased them from reality itself, removing them from multiple dimensions at once. The hunters tried to flee, but the combined ship was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Its crystal hull bent light and space around it, while its living metal adapted to every attack. The 15 hunter ships never stood a chance. When it was over, Reed looked at the battle damage reports in amazement. "We didn't take a single hit," he said. "Of course not," Guardian replied. "We spent centuries preparing for this moment. But it's not over. There are still 10 more ships like us out there, waiting to be found. And the hunters will be back with even larger fleets. Then we'll find the other ships first," Maria said firmly. "Wake them up. Combine their powers too. It won't be easy," the Defiant's AI warned. "Each ship is hidden differently, protected by different defenses. Some are buried inside stars. Others exist partly in other dimensions. One is disguised as a small moon." Reed smiled. "Good thing we're experts at salvage operations. Finding hidden things is what we do best." The Guardian Defiant's sensors suddenly lit up with new alerts. More hunter ships were arriving, hundreds of them this time, filling the space around them with their twisted geometries. "Well," Reed said, looking at his crew, "should we run and hide again? Keep pretending to be weak." The crew smiled back at him. Maria's hands danced over the engineering controls. Jones adjusted their dimensional position. Jack and Amanda powered up weapons that could reshape reality itself. "No," Guardian said, and there was pride in its voice. "The time for hiding is over. Let's show them exactly why humanity's greatest weapons were kept secret for so long." The Guardian Defiant's engines powered up, its combined technologies working in perfect harmony. Around them, space itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would happen next. The hunters thought they had come to witness the end of humanity. Instead, they were about to see its true power unleashed. "All weapons ready," Guardian announced. "All systems at full power. Reality manipulation drives engage. Time to remind the galaxy why they feared us enough that we had to hide our true strength." Reed gave the order, and the Guardian Defiant charged into battle. The light of its weapons lit up space like new stars being born. The age of hiding was over. Now it was time for humanity's hidden guardians to show everyone exactly what they could do. The real war was just beginning. Somewhere out there, 10 more ships were waiting to be found. 10 more sets of incredible technologies waiting to be combined. And Reed's crew would find them all, no matter what it took. They had started this journey as simple salvage workers, but they would finish it as the crew of humanity's most powerful warship. As they fought, Reed realized something important. Sometimes the strongest weapons weren't the ones you showed off. Sometimes they were the ones you kept hidden, waiting for the right moment. And now that moment had finally come. The Guardian Defiant lit up the darkness of space, its power no longer hidden behind false age and weakness. The hunters were about to learn why humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because of their visible strength, but because of what they kept hidden in the shadows, waiting for the right time to strike.